In this example, we're using a custom modal operator to leverage Blender's Sculpt masking tool to segment pieces of a mesh. So it's great in that it's very quick. I believe this is also graphics card optimized. The brush behavior is fairly predictable, meaning when for me that means when I'm painting on this surface here and there's geometry that happens to fall within the brush but is behind the surface where I'm painting, it doesn't pick that up unless we want it to. So I'm able to fairly easily select this single tooth. Unfortunately, I believe this brush is spherical in determining the distance, because if you watch here, it does kind of jump across, whereas I think a geodesic brush that actually has to walk along the surface is a little bit better. Now, Sculpt Mask does have some other modes. I didn't rate it as multimodal because they're not as controllable. So you can box select. I consider that non-painting, so that's kind of a different mode, but it always selects all the way through the mesh. It also has a lasso select, so this is kind of equivalent to our sketching that I showed in our custom implementation, or that I will show depending on what order you're watching these videos. But again, it selects all the way through the mesh and cannot be constrained just the areas that are visible. Furthermore, the Sculpt mask is limited to the topology of the mesh, so I'm not able to draw any kind of region that bisects large geometry. Nevertheless, a super valuable tool. It's fast, it's predictable, and it does have several different ways of input, and so this is great for throwing away pieces of the mesh that you don't care about, where you just want to lop off areas that are not important. And if you're trimming away excess data, this is good too. So I use this in some of those topics that I said were an entire other presentation. We leverage Sculpt Mask quite a bit. So finally, to finish up here, I will separate that piece of the mesh. And now we can use this for other parts of a modeling workflow. I'm pretty excited to see in 2.8 the Sculpt branch, the mask converting to offset shells, and also in the tissue add-on with the weight paint, that the isosurfaces can be extracted from the regions of interest. So there's a lot of good things coming in improvements in Blender 2.8, but this is kind of the state of the art in 2.79, which this presentation is mostly aimed at.